Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I'm the Couch Warrior, and you are watching The Passage, Skyrim SE Let's Play featuring Ettient Jorel, the Altmer Ranger. So in the last episode, there were all kinds of shocks and crazy things that happened. This episode, Ettient is trying desperately to refocus himself on the job at hand. And in light of all the activities that he performed yesterday, all the heavy things that he was thinking about, we never got around to checking in with Maul. But at this point, it's too late for that. We're going to do this Golden Glow mission. That's what this episode is all about. Successfully pulling off the Golden Glow mission as cleanly as we possibly can. Now, for this mission, Ettient has really stripped down in terms of gear. We are leaving literally everything behind unless we're absolutely sure that we need it, and that includes all the miscellaneous stuff that we normally carry with us, things like that. Really stripped down to the bare minimum in terms of gear, weaponry, and miscellaneous items. Now, we do have some things in our inventory, obviously, that we can't get rid of. A lot of those are quest items. But even food, he's gotten rid of all the food and is just carrying water at this point. So we're going to make sure we're well fed before we leave here, and then we're going to basically operate without that stuff, that extra weight. If we somehow feel that we need to eat at some point, if we get desperate or whatever, then we eat whatever we find. So is how it's going to work. Yeah. So that's basically it. And by going with our alternate armor here, from a roleplay perspective, we're making the right selection. We are foregoing some bonuses from the enchantments and so forth. We do still have our full complement of potions, but that's about it. So it's a much pared down setup. The idea is, of course, that it needs to be really lightweight, needs to allow for lots of free movement. All right. This, of course, will be interesting because we know that we're going to a heavily fortified island with a lot of mercenaries on it, with probably a lot of armor and heavy weapons going on. So maintaining our silence and our stealth is going to be vitally important to us carrying off this mission successfully. Okay, so Ettient is using these small islands as little stopping points along the way to get his bearings. And then he's using the cover of the foliage that's on these little islands to conceal himself and kind of observe what's going on. Now, Vex has told us that there is an entrance we can use, kind of a sewer entrance. But we still have to locate that. Tonight would have been a wonderful night for fog. But it's a clear sky and a bright moon, which isn't helping us. And without the cover of the fog, Etienne is a little bit concerned about the approach. Now, we've been instructed as part of this mission to burn 3 beehives. So what Etienne is thinking is based on the description that Vex gave us, our entry point is somewhere over here on the main island. If the place is truly as heavily fortified as she says it is, and we have no reason to doubt her in this, it might make sense for us to burn the hives first and use that distraction to get down inside there. Now, the drawback, of course, of that approach is that could also potentially alert any mercs that are stationed inside. And make our job in there even harder. So I think in the final analysis, what Etienne has decided to do is we are going to try to infiltrate the house first and then potentially use the beehives as a way to cover our escape when we leave. This must be the place right here. And it is. In we go. Hopefully we have thoroughly fumigated this place now. Okay, now Vex didn't really tell us where to go once we found this. It's kind of up to us to sort of explore it and figure out how we get out. We don't know if there's direct access to the house from here or what the situation is. I would imagine that this job is going to be a significant test of Etienne's will, simply because after the revelations of the day before, it's going to be very difficult to concentrate, I would think. So I'm trying very hard not to walk too close to anything that I might conceivably kick or knock over. All right. Let me get our bearings here. Oh, man. Right in the back door. Less than ideal. I think perhaps one of the more difficult things for Etienne is going to be the idea that he's lost control. Ah, come on, man. Of the situation. Okay, let's get in here quick. It's now his sister who's in control. And frankly, he doesn't know much about her. He hasn't seen her in years, probably since she was a child. If he was the older brother, it stands to reason that he probably came of age and went off to war while she was still an adolescent, maybe. So what he's got to do now is accept the fact that she's in control and trust that she's going to be able to handle herself. Which is something that could be very difficult for an older brother to do. And I think there's a certain amount of shame that comes with those feelings as well. Because clearly Kerway's feelings are that, you know, because he took off, deserted the family, left her alone, essentially, he doesn't deserve the privilege of feeling responsible for her. She's not going to allow him the privilege of filling the role of big brother. He has no right to say that he's protective of her. If he was, he would have done something very different. If he truly cared about, you know, what happened to her, right? So, you know, her attitude is completely valid. And again, it's kind of this role reversal, right? Where he's this, you know, big, experienced soldier, warrior, right? Was the big brother who went off to war and blah, blah, blah. And now the tables have really been turned, and she's the one who's taking control of the situation. She's the one who's taken responsibility, is acting like a grown-up. So, anyway. I just find it sort of an intriguing reversal if you look at it from the perspective of Etienne, right? So I think for him it would just be a really kind of a difficult mixture of shock and guilt, and whether he has the right to feel even a little bit insulted or taken aback. That's the thing with people, you know, I mean, sometimes our feelings and our actions aren't rational because we're in it. So somebody looking at their situation and their relationship from the outside might look at it and say, you know what? Kerway's feelings are perfectly reasonable. She should be in control. You know, all these different things, right? Even if Etienne, you know, thinks about it logically and believes that that's right, there's always, you know, that situation, right, where you've got this, your mind telling you one thing and your heart telling you another, and these are the kind of complexities I love about characters, because it makes for an interesting cocktail of emotions and okay. Yeesh. So far, so good, right? There's another one that way. All right. He's behind a dresser there. If we hug the wall. logic would dictate that we are very close to our encounter with Arngoth. Okay. Okay, he's in here. And Ettient knows he's in here. Let's give him an opportunity to decide how he wants to handle this. How's this going to go? It's up to you.
Worthless mercenaries. I didn't think Maven or Mercer would allow me to get away with this, but I had little choice.
I just want the key to your safe.
I can't. If I do, I may as well cut my own throat.
What makes you think I won't?
I don't believe you. That's not your way.
What do you know of my way? I can just open it myself.
No! I'm not about to let you ruin everything I've worked so hard for. Never should have come!
What was that? Must be my imagination.
Well, we gave him a shot. We gave him a way out. He chose not to take it. And it's interesting to consider that the Ettient of even a month ago would never have given him the chance, right? Would have just killed him outright. It would have been all over. Ettient decided to give him a shot at another path, even though it had the potential of risking the mission.
What was that? What was that?
One of the things that Etienne is thinking about in this situation, I mean, his concentration right now has to be we'll take those. Monumental. Complete focus. And I like to think that, you know, one of the things that we talked about is his emotional strength returning. I think this is probably one of the ways in which his emotional strength is exhibited. The idea that he could be under this much strain and pressure and still be able to perform at level 1, 2, even, you know, level 10, when he was still in a weakened state. It's hard to imagine that he would have been able to do that.
Huh?
Here's the bill of sale. That's what we needed. And for us, we're going to look in here to see if there's anything we can use. Not really. All right, we are in and out. So far, so good. Only 2 deaths. Arengoth himself, because he made it clear that he wasn't going to go down without a fight. That guard that was right outside his chambers, I literally had no choice but to kill him because it was the only way to be absolutely sure we could guarantee our successful escape from that room. That room, in a way, was kind of a death trap. Only one way in and out. So Etienne had to dispatch that guy just to make sure that our way was not immediately blocked. Quite often, we've seen Etienne count on his, not just his stealth, but his speed to escape. But no matter how fast he is, it would have been very difficult to get out of that room with that guard there, and I'm pretty sure there's no way we could have had our little knife fight with Arangoth and kept it quiet if that guard had remained in that position. All right, now we slip back down into the water. I believe that this character could likely make more and better use of the throw voice shout than any other character I've ever created. I know that in the past I've always tended to focus on other shouts that were perhaps a bit more, I don't know, sexy. Things that, you know, did a lot of damage or caused a lot of ruckus. But I sense that Etienne could potentially make pretty masterful use of throw voice. Alright, now we have to be careful. It's very easy to overdo it on these things. Okay. Let's get that torch put away. And we stay back here behind the fire. They're going to see the fire, but hopefully what they see are flames and not shadows in front of the flames, right?
I guess I was just hearing.
Now, when you think about it, given all the money and the resources that Arangoth has invested in the defense of this little island, Etienne's thought is strategically that it might be more frightening to these people to discover that these items have been stolen and their beehives have been burned and Arangoth has been assassinated, and it's happened all on one quiet, peaceful night under full moonlight with only one dead mercenary. I think that that could possibly be more unnerving than if you'd had, you know, a full frontal assault, right? With lots of dead. The idea that someone could get in and out, penetrate all of their defenses, and sort of just kind of travel around the estate, picking and choosing what they were going to do and where they were going to go completely unhindered. I mean, let's make no mistake. We've acquired a level 100 sneak now. I mean, he is literally the stealth master at this point, which is pretty amazing. I mean, you know, it makes him ideally suited for this kind of work. But obviously his style of stealth comes from his ranger background, his time spent as a scout, as an outdoorsman, as a hunter, things like that. It's not the same as the type of stealth that perhaps a thief or an assassin might employ. I think of it as being different. And I think one of the things that I've tried to emphasize in the role play is that Etienne is always very aware of his surroundings. You know, where are the shadows? Where's the cover? I think it's safe to say that I don't know that I've ever had a character complete the Golden Glow mission with this little bloodshed, so it's kind of amazing, actually. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Golden Glow Estate is a wrap. We've got the stuff that we need. So tomorrow is the day that we turn everything over to Brynjolf, let him know the job has been completed, collect our payment, and see what Maven has in store for us next. The other thing that we're going to try and figure out is what constitutes a reasonable system for passing messages back and forth with Kerway, given her very particular restrictions. So that is next on the agenda. I want to thank you all for watching this episode of The Passage, and I will see you next time.